It's time for the Left of Lansing Friday Short with Pat Johnston.
Here's the Friday Short for June 21st of 2024. MAGA Republican State Representative Neil Friske joined the MAGA crime family in style this week. News broke on Thursday on how the Charlevoix Republican was arrested at the Deja Vu strip club in Lansing after police responded to calls about a man with a gun and possible shots being fired. And the Detroit Free Press reports that Lansing police are requesting 3 felony charges against the far right-wing MAGA Freedom Caucus member. Police are seeking felony charges of sexual assault, and a weapons-related offense against the 62-year-old election denier insurrectionist. Now, being involved in criminal activity isn't new for Friske. Our good friends at Michigan Progress reminded us how there's some good evidence out there showing Friske attended the January 6th insurrection, as there's not only video showing someone who bears a striking resemblance to Friske that day, but his sister-in-law left a Facebook post that day bragging about being in D.C. on January 6th with her brother-in-law. And as I talked about last week, Friske was also one of 2 MAGA Republicans to vote against banning non-consensual AI porn, which is used to blackmail and shame women, but it also includes child porn. Steve Cara of Three Rivers was the other vote, by the way. Now, I guess after news of his arrest, it's no surprise that Friske's always held this kind of personal contempt for women, because as Michigan Advance reminds us, Friske also introduced legislation trying to overturn the voter-approved state constitutional right to abortion care. And as I shared with you on last week's episode, Friske gave a radio interview during his run for the 107th House District in 2022, in which he flat out stated his opposition to any type of abortion and that he just couldn't believe doctors aren't able to save both the fetus and the mother if the mother's life is in danger. Friske's essentially saying he wasn't for saving the life of the mother and that the mother is literally there to serve as a host. The fetus is more important than the mother, according to Neil Friske. So again, is it any wonder that Friske would act aggressively towards women to the point where he chased a female worker at Deja Vu with a gun, allegedly? It also won't shock you to learn that Friske recently sent out a mailer proudly touting his opposition to gun safety laws like red flag laws and expanded background checks, which Michigan Democrats passed into law last year. So that's no surprise either. I tweeted how Friske's arrest at Deja Vu is pretty much on par for MAGA Republican Christian nationalists who believe that men have full domain over a woman's autonomy, and if the woman fights back, men will turn to violence. Violence is always the end result. Violence, or using violent language, is utilized by the MAGA crowd because these white Christian nationalists believe they should rule over all of us, not just women, but over all of us. And if the democratic process fails, they'll turn to violence if need be. That's why MAGA doesn't mind all the crime their leaders are committing. Hell, I just did a monologue on this week's episode about Trump's spiritual guru, Robert Morse, being accused this week of molesting a 12-year-old girl years ago when he was married. Now, Morse stepped down as leader of the Gateway Church around Dallas, which proves again that MAGA white Christian nationalists like Morse or Neil Friske pose a greater risk to society than drag queens ever have. You see, getting arrested is a prerequisite for MAGA Republicans to run for office, following in the footsteps of their convicted felon dear leader. But wait a second. Is MAGA really outsmarting all of us? I'm starting to think about this. You see, the Biden administration is getting a handle on the Trump crime wave as FBI stats are showing crime numbers plummeting across the nation. So, in order to bring those numbers back up, is MAGA taking one for the team by getting arrested to help bring those crime numbers back up? Maybe Neil Friske isn't as dumb as he looks. leftoflansing@gmail.com is my email. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and the Gram. Subscribe to the podcast and subscribe to Left of Lansing on YouTube. And don't forget to check out this week's episode featuring Democratic State Representative Jason Morgan. Take the battle to them.